This episode brought to you by the son of Thomas Leo Clancy Sr. presents Thomas Leo Clancy Jr.'s The Division 2, Long Division.
I'm still getting in here. I still gotta wake up. I'm not feeling pressing the button yet.
Yeah, man, you should be getting energized from all this hard work. You should, come on, bruh.
Come on.
Yeah.
Come on. Come on.
What's the update on the basement?
Where I'm at now is that I took some paneling off the wall, but there's this black, what looks like felt backing behind it. It's either for fire or it's for insulation, but it's not thick enough to be insulation. It's literally as thin as like fabric. And so I don't know if it has asbestos in it. I don't know if I should be worried.
Why are you so obsessed with this asbestos
I don't want to
thing?
die. I don't want to inhale stuff and then have mesothelioma and then have to freaking, and be entitled to compensation when I'm 50. I want to have
This episode
that
brought to you by mesothelioma.
I think we did that already.
Call 508-216-0006 and you may be entitled to compensation.
You won't be entitled to compensation. We don't have much money. Speaking of money, give us yours.
Oh.
Patreon.com/HOTDROP? The HOTDROP? What is it?
I don't know, but
The hot
Daddy
drop.
needs a new computer.
It's only $1 a month.
Not
For a new computer?
Wow, this really speaks to how we value our podcasts here. You can select a membership level on Patreon. The first one is $1, and it's Hot Dropper. And then the second tier, the $3 per month, is called Diver.
Oh.
What does that say about us?
That we value dive more than we value hot drop?
And yet,
We don't do dive.
we don't do
Lived
Dive.
on.
And there's what, 10 episodes?
I don't even think that, man.
There's
5 episodes?
10. There's exactly 10. Well, one is the blog post on the site. But yeah, 10 versus 97. So what does that say? It's
That we
quality,
have
not
made-
quantity.
Yeah, we have made 10 quality episodes of dive and 94 shit episodes of hot drop.
Well, they were all shit before you joined.
Well, no, I said we have made 94 shit ones. We've only made 2.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Ah.
I get
I'll
it. I'm
let
picking up
the
what you're putting
listeners decide.
down. I'm picking up what you're putting down. John, how about you tell the listeners who we are?
We are Hot Drop, in case you haven't figured that out yet, based on the title of the show logo, or the fact that Dan said it about 10 seconds ago. You might know us from the very feed you are listening to, where we talked about PUBG and other games for the last few years. If you're new to the show, we also have other podcasts, Dive, featuring variety banter.
10
and
episodes of variety banter.
10 episodes of Dive, featuring variety banter and research informational learnings, and the Tarkov Escape Pod, where Dan did 5 episodes to about the same number of listeners.
Oh. Get sucked on. Woo.
We also have a Discord where you can hang out with mature, like-minded gamers or be a total dick and get banned like the guy did last week. Or you could be notified that we're going live on Twitch every Monday and Thursday at 8-ish p.m. Eastern at twitch.tv/the_hot_drop.
And we have a lonely and neglected hotline where you can call it, leave a message for us, and find out if you're entitled to compensation. 508-216-0006. Stick around to the end to hear this week's calls. Maybe it will inspire you to call the damn hotline. And also, if you want to support the show, leave a review on whatever app you're using. Join the Discord, post in the show feedback section, tweet us at the Hot Drop, email us at hotdroppodcast@gmail.com. We want to hear your thoughts. We want to hear your voice. We want to hear your feedback. If you can't do that, at the very least, slap us with a rating on the app that you're using. It's literally one tap. Give us as many stars.
We only
as we
want the
deserve.
good ones. We only want the good ones.
But-
we don't want you to give us a bad one.
Yeah, just give us 5 or 0. And by 0, I mean don't vote.
Don't. Yeah.
Just don't do it.
Don't vote, people. You heard it here.
Heard it here. Do you have something cooking up for us, Cody? I feel like I feel a rumblings in the gut. It might be the Chinese food that I had for dinner, but I feel like it's a feeling of newness, freshness. Something is happening behind the scenes. We're about to pull the curtain back on it. Is that happening, or is that just me?
That is happening, Daniel. So we've made a discovery, actually.
Oh.
Dark matter?
In the annals of lore.
In the anals. Right in the
We have
lore's
come
butthole.
Right in the lore's butt.
Mature, like-minded gamers. Am I right, boys?
We have discovered a lost recording from the lore of the American Hunters Association. And I wanted to share this with our listeners.
Hunter Initiate, I am most pleased to have this occasion to write you and to welcome you into the American Hunters Association. You will risk more than most could ever imagine, even for so righteous a cause. But should you succeed, the bounty will nourish more than just your wallet. The association has existed in various forms for many hundreds of years. Yet its legacy is silence, and a world freed from monstrous, mindless, cannibalistic beings, free from those empty, corrupted shells, once human, now looking only to fill that rotten vessel with your flesh. You will have heard tell of what waits for you in the wild. Do not underestimate its vile power. I fear that my oath does not allow me to commit further details to paper. Suffice to say, we stand shoulder to shoulder in this cause, though warn you I must. Not every hunter would say so, and you must remember that treachery comes in many forms. In high regard, Philip Huff Jones, M.D., Director of the American Hunters Association and Superintendent of the Louisiana Asylum at Jackson.
Yo, Jones, Loadout Lowdown.
It sounded like you said the same word twice, but it was like the Yanni whatever. What are those things where you hear what
Yanni or Laurel?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what it was. Lowdown, lowdown.
Lowdown, lowdown.
Did you hear lowdown, lowdown, or lowdown, loadout.
This is John's Loadout Lowdown. Hold on. I never said this is HOTDROP. But that's okay. We don't have to.
You just asked me to start into it.
Yeah. Whatever. They know it's HOTDROP. We don't have to tell them. John,
But
take it away. Whatever you were going to say.
I was going to say that you, in the intro, I literally said that you said it 10 seconds ago.
Oh, well, we were talking about HOTDROP versus Dive and which one we value more. Clearly, it's not this show.
He did say HOTDROP.
So,
Okay.
Yeah, so I think we're
Checks
covered.
out. Checks out.
If any of the viewer listeners want to chime in and say it doesn't check out, feel free, but
You have to call the hotline.
Yeah, 508-216.
We are a hot mess.
It's fine. This is the fresh stuff that they
Wild.
waited for. The hotness.
Wild. Loadout Lowdown.
Yeehaw! Pew, 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 pew.
I wanted to talk about kind of more of a specific location and a loadout surrounding it. The what we have dubbed David Chappelle Madonna Noire.
David
AKA.
Chappelle Manada Noire.
The Chapel Madonna Noire.
David Chappelle. Yeah.
Exactly. Which is a really fun area. It's one that I like every time I see that the monster or bounty is there. I'm always happy to go there. We actually tend to, if we start near it, we tend to
Die.
yeah.
Early.
Yeah, we tend
We
to
will
have,
always catch an early fight on the opposite side.
right? So I don't know what it is about the spawn points, but when we're there, we'll head towards it and then we'll catch somebody's spawn and get in an early fight, which is fun. But the real thing I want to talk about is assaulting the location when you're going after a bounty. Somebody started it or whatever, and you're trying to get down inside, or you hear them fighting it. Couple of points about it. There are, I think there are only 2 ways to get in. One is an underground entrance, and it leads to the cellar area, and the other one you have to go through the burned out church, down a staircase, and inside. And
I like that one.
Which is harder to get through than the other one.
Yeah, I like it though because I feel like I can catch people off guard. I don't know why I think that, because it makes sense people would come and guard the front door, but I don't know. I like it. Probably because once I got a double kill with a double barrel on the way down there because they were paying attention to you guys when you were coming in the back. But
it doesn't feel like the front door.
It doesn't. No, it doesn't.
It's because it's a burned out church.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's no door.
There's no door. There's not even windows. It's just burned.
Yeah.
So a couple of other key points about this place is the whole section is walled off, and there are broken walls where you can get through. But that makes it very easy to kind of surround, flank, all kinds of strategic maneuvery. That's very helpful when assaulting it. And then underneath is very dark, close quarters. I think we usually fight the spider or the butcher there. I don't know if there's a restriction on what bosses spawn where.
I
but
still think there is.
I don't know if there's a restriction, but I feel like they favor certain places.
They might.
It seems that way. Like the brickworks, it always seems to be the assassin.
Yeah.
That's not necessarily true. Maybe
sure.
those are sticking in my mind more, but
maybe that's when we have the most difficulty there.
Maybe, yeah.
But anyway, so the because the underneath is close quarters and you can kind of flank around, you can kind of use whatever you like there, which makes it very fun. However, inside, close quarters, tight corners, that kind of thing, it does do better with a close range loadout. Like a shotgun, dual wield is great. I wouldn't use automat, but I never do. Bomb lance is probably good. Something you can prime and run in there. And I think it's a really good location to practice some flashbangs. The reason I say that is because it's kind of got this big open main area. Like after you get past those tight corners, so you can go down the staircase outside, get inside and like see that people are attacking it or whatever, and you can creep in safely, covering corners. It feels very safe to approach from that angle, and then you can lob a flashbang kind of into the main area and tag pretty much anyone who's there.
Love it. I love how the flashbang gives you the hit markers. It feels super overpowered.
Yeah. I think it's really helpful to know when you've hit somebody, but even if you don't hit somebody, that's still information. So
it's always very informative. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's a really good opportunity. In this game, I would say you don't want to flash and push in yourself. So flash for a teammate. So this is really helpful for people with comms, but you could still do it. I have definitely chased some people down after flashing them and have been able to kill them. It lasts a long time. It lasts
so long. Yeah. If it's a direct hit, it's so long.
I feel like that's the highest risk, highest reward throwable.
Because it can you so hard.
Fuck your day up, even if you're off by just a little bit.
Oh, you mean yourself, the person who's throwing it? Yeah.
Yeah, you'll end up. I can think of one time we were in the basement of the church, and they have the little like corners in that around that center block. You know, there's like the open space in the center block, but there's just like 3 steps that come up from the lower side. And I was going to throw and I hit the guy, but it blinded me and I missed my chance to chase him down. It only blinded me for a second, but it definitely hit him hard, but it still didn't matter because you don't know the direction they break at that point. And you kind of miss your chances if you're not really, really good at throwing it too far away. And it's not a good tool if they are on the other side of a wall and you're right close to them.
Unless you use it as a team. Like, I think it makes things a lot easier if you throw it and your other teammate rushes in rather than you throw and then you also try to follow it in. Totally. Unless you know you got a direct hit. It's pretty hard to tell. Because I think they make the same. The hit marker still hits, and they make the same noise, like the of being flashed.
I think it does 1 damage if you hit somebody with it, not with the blinding necessarily, but yeah, I think it's really effective with a team. I think you want to throw it from a decent distance from where you want to be because it has such a big chance to blind you. It's very effective all around. So yeah, I think your teammate can easily stand out of the way, and even if you get blinded, hopefully they can push in and get a kill or clear an area, which is helpful. So I would say close range shoddy, flashbang. I think poison bomb is super effective here because of those staircase areas that Cody mentioned. You have kind of like an upper tier, which is the main open area that I was referencing, and then like a bottom area where the staircases go to, and you can poison bomb to either block off a section of those stairs or like a big chunk of where you feel unsafe from, whether it be an entrance or anything like that. And those last so long, I think they're super effective there. So if you don't want someone pushing down from the church from above as you're assaulting in, you can do something like that. Or you can just throw it in the main area where you think they're going to be, and it can, ruin someone's day by going through there. It's important to let your teammates know about that because it does a ton of damage, and they are harder to see in dark or color poor areas,
I think
like the forest.
Poison bomb is interesting. I feel like that's something I don't often bring. And I think it's really effective in the underneath of the church because it screws your vision up. So it's already really dark. Right. And then when you're poisoned in the dark area, it makes it really hard to see. So I think if people rush through the poison, they might even not see it. It's sometimes very easy to miss.
Oh, yeah. Even if you get too close to it sometimes because it dissipates a little bit further out on the edges of it. Yeah. And you might be close. It's kind of like the choke bomb as well. Like if you're out by the edges, it'll still get you.
And I was going to bring up the choke bomb. I was going to ask you, like, as far as like throw a poison on the staircase to try to keep them away, would you rather it be a poison or a choke bomb? Because I typically don't bring either. But which would you prefer in that scenario?
Poison does damage. Choke bomb doesn't do damage.
Yeah, I think if you're going defensive, you'd want to choke so that they couldn't throw throwables through it. That's so great.
We don't use that. We don't use that nearly enough.
Yeah, I mean, I just recently started using flash. Like that, I feel like that's number one, and then you work your way to the others.
Yeah,
I think flash is easier to know when to use it because you're like, I'm going in here, don't know where they are. I kind of want to clear a section, throw a flash.
And you don't often use it defensively. Yeah.
Right. I was watching a video today, actually, and I was like amazed by this, and it kind of stuck with me for the day. There was a guy who did a video on a review, a full review, 26 minutes on Hunt Showdown that was released like yesterday. And I was like, oh, first of all, that's weird because this game's been out for a while and it's struggling with player counts. But this guy had like 500,000 subscribers too, and it already had 50,000 views. So I was like, players, come, please. We want more people to play with. But anyway, he used all of his throwables as like a defensive thing on his way out. And it was amazing.
After he got the token?
He got the token. He's heading for the extract. And as he leaves the area, he threw a concertina bomb at the gate that he was leaving. And then he threw a poison bomb about 100 yards past that. And then he threw a flash when he heard people coming. And it was insane. I loved it.
I've noticed
and it gave a new meaning to all of these.
Sorry to interrupt you. I just was thinking the concertina bomb. Twice now I've been hit by that offensively. Like someone has thrown it at me. And I'm like, really? Like that's it's not something I've seen until recent. It's interesting.
He was leaving the lumber yard, I believe. Maybe it wasn't the lumber yard, but it was one of the big open ones. And he threw it when there were like a hole in the fence and a gate, and he just chucked it, and it covered his escape. And then when he crossed the water, he threw the poison down. It was awesome.
I think we need to use the concertina bombs a little more.
But they're so expensive.
They are expensive, but it's straight up an impenetrable wall. I mean, you're not going to get through that. It's not like the poison where if you're antidoted, you can run through it, or like choke where it's like, it doesn't really do any damage, so you can still run
I
through
think
the
you
choke.
can throw something at it and it would blow up, though, right? You could throw a dynamite stick and it would destroy it, correct?
The concertina? Yeah, I think so.
Bomb?
Yeah. But I mean, it's something that will immediately block someone
Yeah.
for a little while to allow you to get away.
You right.
I don't know.
I like this. You've given me some perspective here, John.
Nice. I think the poison bomb's a strong one that we don't use very often, but blocking off an area, like, I don't think it is the meta to take an antidote shot with you or a weak antidote shot or whatever and use that. But I think that would be really strong to grab a poison bomb and an antidote shot and just, even offensively, you could do some fun stuff, throw it down and then run through it, that kind of
You
thing.
could block off other people's escapes if you're holding it down.
Yeah.
That would be an interesting way to see that used. If we all bring an antidote shot with us and one of us brings a poison and we're pushing into somewhere, we throw it past where they are.
Yeah.
I think that what's the one where it's like a broken building at the top and we often get the spider up there? Oh shoot, I don't know.
Is it the crematorium?
Yes. That would be a good place to use that because you can block off the top half because it's sectioned off into two.
Mm-hmm.
And you can keep people from going anywhere if you throw it next to one of those ramps.
Mm-hmm.
That would be a lot of fun.
Yeah, I think anything underground like that has very distinct ways out. Like, if you're in a building, you can always jump out the window if you really need to.
Yeah.
Which gives a...
Falls directly into my trap.
Yeah, right. Put a concertina wire out there. So, yeah, I think that's a great idea. Using them indoors like that would be... I think that's a good strategy to employ. The last thing I wanted to bring up was if you see you're going to the chapel, grab a melee weapon and freaking charge in when you get there, especially if they're still fighting the boss.
That is the hardest underground to get it to manage once you're down there, I think.
Yeah, because of that, like, the entrances are kind of tight corners, but then you have that big open area. You can get into basically the heart of it and charge at them before they have a chance to react. If they're not blocking the area, then melee weapon is going to be really strong. Make sure your team is pushing with you, but I think that would be a great location to utilize, like a saber or an axe or something like that.
Saber. Oh, baby.
Those sabers, man. They'll fuck your day up.
Saber
for
plus
sure.
stamina shot.
Yeah, that's strong.
That's this right there. That's the sound of me with a saber and a stamina shot, just going at the enemies, just jumping in.
Yeah.
I hate my road.
And I feel like it's a good time to roll into some beginner tips because my very first one is kind of, it's kind of related.
Hit me with your pet shark, Daniel.
I mean, as John done, I don't want to, cut off the Loadout Lowdown a little too early.
I mean,
all out of loadout.
he is all out of low down.
All right, beginner tips. Experiment with those different loadouts. Pew pew. Maybe take a freaking cavalry saber in. Yeah, cavalry saber.
Cavalry
Cavalry saber. Bring it in. Bring a stamina shot. Frick around a little bit. You never know what's going to happen.
I think I was more experimental at the beginning of this game than I am now.
Oh,
I
sure.
think that you have to just jump in head first and figure out what's going to work and what's not going to work. And I can tell you right now that I almost never, unless I really feel I have to or I'm low on money, pick up breach loading anything because of it.
Mm-hmm.
I've played with almost every weapon
Do you think
except
it's for you?
What do you mean?
Like, do you feel like you won't take a breach loading weapon, but do you think that they suck or they just don't work for you? Or do you think you're limiting yourself because it's like you used them a couple times and now you don't like them? Or
Well, Daniel, let me let you in on a little secret.
okay, all right.
I'm not good at the game.
Oh my god, I don't believe you.
This is where you gasp.
Oh,
Yeah, believe it or not, I am not a great shot. I choke under pressure, And from time to time, I'm known to be the first to die.
Would you say your guy sucks?
Oh, my guy sucks.
Your guy sucks. Okay.
My guy sucks.
Okay.
What I think is with breech loading weapons, I don't have the skill set yet to be confident in my reload times.
Mm-hmm.
And we've talked about it before, is that like I will rather switch to something else, which takes more time than reloading sometimes. And I will die, and that's not good. So I just don't bring in breech loading weapons. I like to bring in things that will allow me to get off shots without stopping and looking down again.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
I've had more success with like bolt action rifles, or revolvers, double action revolvers.
Mm-hmm.
And so I don't do breech loading because they're not a friend.
John's a big fan of the breech load.
I am. The Springfield especially has a very quick reload time, and I like to peek out, take a shot, dive back into cover.
Yeah. And that's medium ammo. You get more of them every restock.
Still good penetration.
Yeah, it's a pretty good gun. Good damage.
$38.
Money well spent.
It's a steal. It's a steal. Do you know what the economy's like today? Do you know what the economy was like in 1898 when this game takes place?
Yeah, that's actually $1,000 rifle, John.
Well, it's a lot better. I do a lot better with the Springfield than I do with the Sparks. I don't know why, but
Yeah, I don't know why either. I agree. I don't know if it's the sights. I don't know if it's like the 4 or 5 second reload on the Sparks.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, but I agree. So yeah, the reason I asked was because I've been trying to play some different things recently.
Mm-hmm.
Like the Martini is a breech loader that I picked up last stream sesh every Monday and Thursday, 8 p.m. Eastern at twitch.tv/the_HOTDROP. And I'm realizing that all of the weapons are good. Like there isn't one weapon that is just garbage trash other than the crossbows. I just won't go for those. I can't do it. I can't do it. I know they're super powerful, but I just can't do it. I need bang, bang, you know? So I'm trying different things. I'm realizing that as the game went on and I got a little more familiar with the different weapons, that I sort of gravitated to certain things that I liked, like the Auto 5 and all the, other shotguns. And then John said, hey, this shotgun's good too. You should try the Romero. And I was like, well, what if I miss? And I only have one shot. Like I like having 2 shots or 5 shots.
I like having
100
shots.
Like all the shots. And so I realized that every time I take the Auto 5 in, it's $600, aka like $125,000 of today money. And so I'm like, maybe I should, keep my bankroll a little more steady and go with the cheaper stuff. And the Romero has a long range and it's a very powerful gun. And I'm doing just fine with it. So I'm using that a little more now and I'm liking it. And so the things that I initially gravitated away from are sort of bringing me back. And I'm realizing they're pretty effective still. And I like it. It makes it a little more exciting to switch things up and not always use the same loadout every time. But my tip as a beginner is to just use all of it, all of the things as much as you can, and just figure out what you do like, focus on that, and get better with that. And then, like
Aside
me,
for bringing
come
in
around.
those stupid melees.
Which melees?
Yeah.
Oh, never
Hatchet.
bring the machete or the hatchet or combat axe, whatever it's called.
No, never bring that.
Don't
That's
do that.
Dumb. You're an idiot if you do.
Don't do that. Don't listen to our show if you do that. I don't want.
Saber is forgivable. Everything else, you are a dumb, stupid idiot, and
Yep.
I hate you.
Unsubscribe, please.
No, please subscribe and give us money. I need a new computer.
Rate us 5 stars.
Rate us 5 stars, yeah.
This one is a John tip because you did this and now I do this. So John, what's the deal here? What made you start doing this? Because it's genius.
I was trying for completion on the store, and I noticed that I didn't have all the light items. And one of the unlock for it, I had to go bring a flashlight into the game. And after I did that, I unlocked something else. I think it was a few Z's after that. And I unlocked those, and it said, get experience with these. And I was like, what? How would I get experience with this dumb thing? So then you can, I took it out, threw it at a zombie, lit on fire, and that was excellent. and then I tried it on, like, I would use it on Hive occasionally, and then I tried it on a concertina near a clue at some point, just because I was using them for the experience basically, and it worked. Or it was an armored, but then coming up on a concertina armored, you know, none of us had a range thing or a silence thing, and just happened to have fusees on me and tried it out, and they burned it up. Takes very little
paper
time.
mache.
Yeah, just like their armor looks like paper mache.
Yeah.
And it works really well.
There's no better way. I am
Really
Paper mache.
$10. It takes up a slot, but I don't usually fill that slot with something else. So
I have started to bring fusees every single time we go into a match because of that.
Mhm.
Every single time. And my loadout consists of first aid kit, fusees, concertina mines, and dusters every time.
So the downside of it is if you use one, you will then get them out of consumable boxes instead of consumables.
Yeah. It's like the consumable box is like, oh, you like fusees? Oh, here's a fusee. Oh, here's another one. Oh, you like those? Here's another one. It's like, stop, please, for the love of God. It always tops you off. I wish that was a perk, like the refill decoys perk.
Yeah.
Like, I just...
Why is the recoil
Why is it a perk?
Decoy? Why?
Yeah.
Who wants that?
I don't know.
I don't know. But there's no better way to take out those concertina armored. You can't get close. Hive's pretty good too. And so bring those fusees.
It's good on the normal armoreds too. If you just,
Yeah.
there's a bunch of zombies around and you know you don't have enough stamina.
You're lacking the stamina.
Yeah.
Also,
can't use that sound anymore.
yeah, I know. That's just unfortunate, really. The fusees could also be used offensively at night.
They're so bright. They're so bright.
So bright. So
I've used
bright.
this for hidey holes where people might peek in. I will throw a fusee near there so that it's way hard. They'll have to like push their face up against it or whatever, and then it will be really obvious to us if they do that.
So bring the fusees.
Bring them.
And my last tip, it's going to be 3 today. I've got more than that. I got more, but you're just going to get 3.
Prove it.
Later episodes, I will prove it. This is the last one. Burn bodies, but do them with strategery. Okay?
Yeah.
Strategery. Also, don't use your firebombs. Use lanterns. Because firebombs only come around but once per match, typically, unless you find a restock. Find a lantern, burn the body, but don't burn it right away. And don't burn it when they're all dead, because that doesn't make any sense. Because when you burn them and they burn out, you can't take their weapons or their monies or whatever +1 consumables they have. So you can burn them in the same way that you would burn someone who is in PUBG and knocked. So like PUBG is a very different style of revive. The timer or the health of the person ticks down and then they die. But in Hunt, they stay alive or I should say, they stay in a revivable state for as long as you are alive. So if you want to hurry someone, if you want to hurry the enemy team to try to get them to pick up their on fire teammate, it's probably one of the best things you could do as far as getting them out of position when they go to try to save their friend. There's been many times where I've downed a guy, lit him on fire, and then his teammate comes rushing over to try to pick him up to put the fire out, and I just kill his teammate too. So don't just burn them to burn them. Don't burn them every single time, but burn them to try to get information. If you don't know where that third guy is, maybe, or second guy is, light the guy on fire and wait for him to come to you, because they're very, very rarely going to let their teammate die. I mean, I never do that. I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm sticking you. You're coming with me.
I feel like I'm the pickup king in this game.
Hell yeah, brother.
If I'm not dead, I would rather pick you guys up than go and try and win it.
I'm the same way. Even though I know that I could usually out aim most people, I'm still like, I'm sticking you. I'm sticking you. How many times do I say that?
I'm sticking you.
Game. I'm doing it. So burn those bodies, and it's not a dick move. It's a strategic move. It's part of the game. Take advantage of that.
I've been getting into Reddit, I believe it's called, on the internet, and there are people on this application that
Not just trolls.
They're not all the one person with different usernames. It's not all the same guy.
Yeah, and so there's this. There's
Sounds
this
the same to me.
There's this division, just this page that's
Tom
like
Clancy's?
a division. Of
Tom
another
Clancy's The
page.
Division 2.
There's like a, there's like a, they call it a Reddit, but then they have like sub versions of that Reddit, and then like
okay.
you can go to those pages and they're topical.
So like Tom Clancy's The Division 2 would have its own subreddit.
Subreddit, yes.
Subreddit, yeah.
And I follow the one for the Hunt Showdown, and it is pretty good actually. Very meme heavy, but also small enough where like you can kind of see some pretty good stuff. And what I have come to find out is that console players of this game hate when you burn bodies. And PC players find it to be one of the best parts of the game strategically.
That's interesting.
It's all the time. Like once a day, you will see somebody on there complaining about burning bodies and raging on there. And then all the PC players being like, what are you talking about? Like, this is how you play the game. You got to win how you're going to win.
Yeah.
And burning bodies is a part of that strategy.
Also
And
get good.
It's only console players who hate it.
Interesting.
It's very strange. Yeah. Super weird.
I really like the mechanic because it isn't a dick move, because it doesn't instant kill you.
Yeah.
Well,
It
that's
is
the
a
thing. How many times
pressure
have we been burned
tactic.
out? Once? Twice, maybe? Like
It's
completely
rare.
burned out?
Very rare.
Yeah.
I think it's one of the best parts of this game.
And with South Skin, you can, mitigate that a little
Yeah.
bit.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's really,
So if we can find, so here's the challenge for you guys. Find someone who plays this game. That's part one.
Okay. Found
Part-
two people I do a podcast
No,
with.
that's not us. That's not us.
Fuck.
can't be done.
Can't be done.
Jimmy.
Now find someone who plays this game that plays it on console.
Fuck you, Dan. I graduated
Impossible
high school. I went through college. I got a master's degree, and now you want me to do more tests?
Can't do
Bullshit.
it. It can't be done. It can't be done.
He's not wrong.
What's the challenge?
But
We just
the
find them?
challenge is find someone who plays on console and then ask them, like, how do you feel about the burnings? And how do you feel about how we play it on PC versus console? Like, what's the real difference? Is there a lot of difference? It feels like the same game, right? Like, it can't be that much different. But maybe there's something weird with the meta of that game based on how the aiming works. I don't know, maybe?
Can I like James Earl Jones you and just feel the dreams, this bitch?
Frick yeah.
We have a podcast where we just announced it. We have built it. They will come. Anyone who is a console player, let us know. Anyone who is a PC player, let us know. Call the hotline and let us know. Join the
508.
Discord. Let us know. Email us.
216.
Tweet at us. Let us know.
I kind of like picturing that we just do this show that no one listens to.
Yeah, like absolutely not. But like when we are old, our grandchildren will find it and be like, "This was awesome," and then we can
Yeah.
pretend to be famous.
Yeah, and I'll be in the nursing
And they're
home
stupid
just
kids. They don't
crushing
even
zombies.
know.
And then my grandkids will be like, "Grandpapa, would you like to play Hunt Showdown with me?"
They're British now.
Yeah, my son and daughter will move to London and they'll start a life there.
It's called
Makes
standard
sense.
dialect.
Yeah.
It's just everybody who speaks English uses it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like Star Wars.
Checks
We'll just
out.
have credits instead of dollars. You know, the usual.
Checks out.
Except language. But
Checks out.
All right. I've been trying to figure out a way to work this in for this entire time because we were talking about Tom Clancy's The Division. So I just have to say, the estate of Thomas Leo Clancy Jr. presents Thomas Clancy's The Division 2. The other day we were...
that should be the brought to you by.
Yes. We're going to go back and add that in. The other day we were trying to think of really long ways to say The Division 2 for no reason at all because that's our humor. And if you listen to the pod, you should know that by now. That's what we do.
Who was doing that? Were we doing that?
We were doing that on February 25th, 2020.
Yeah, I think you just said the other day.
It was another day. I mean, technically, it wasn't today. It was another one.
It's quarantine. Every day feels like last
Do
week.
days matter anymore? No.
No, not really.
Yeah.
All right. So yeah, that's all I got. That's your beginner tips. And if you're on console, come and get it. That's all I got.
Come get the tips.
Come get them. Come get the tips. Now what? What else is
Okay.
fresh?
Well, so I feel like this needs a little bit of explanation.
Okay.
This next segment of the show. For those of you who are new to the show, those of you who have listened to the show for 3 years now, we used to have a segment called Dumb As Hayull, where I would talk about the things that I found to be dumb as Hayull. And I realized that was a bit short-sighted of me, right? Who am I to judge what is dumb and what belongs in Hayull?
Right. Are you
So-
God?
No, I'm not.
Yeah.
I am just a former fat man who struggled with emotional intelligence and wanted to blame his problems on the rest of the world.
Mhm.
So what I've decided to do moving forward is, instead of Dumb As Hayull, I will be doing the Cody stands and yells and waves his arms.
Love.
Because what the goal here is, people, is personal growth. I will share with you my inner feelings, and then we're going to explore what I should do next. So for the first time on the Hot Drop podcast, I present Cody stands and yells and waves his arms. Just standing up, getting ready. Oh no, my mic won't stay facing me. Ready?
Send it.
All I ask is that I can get a clutch play when I need to have a clutch play. All right? I've been playing these games with my friends for 3 goddamn years. Twice a week, sometimes more, multiple hours of my life spent trying to kill the bad guys with my pals, trying to build relationships, trying to shoot peeps in the face. But what do I get? A .48 KD. Why, I ask? I was good at Call of Duty. I was trash at PUBG, and I am trash at this game. There's no consistency. I feed you with comedy and music week in, week out. And how am I rewarded? First to die, first to pick up, last out, no kills. I gotta be better. How can I get better? So this week I've decided to focus on crosshair placement because I need to get better. What we had talked about on the stream the other day was how I have a tendency to look down further than I probably should. And I was given the piece of advice that I should look up so that I can react more quickly, and that I should also wait until the last second to ADS for a better impact and higher likelihood of landing my shots. Correct? Can we get the consensus on that? That's what I was told by my friends Jonathan and Danielson.
Correct.
Correct.
I would like to issue you my findings.
Mm-hmm.
Turns out those are really good pieces of advice.
Hey,
yo.
Because in the first 2 matches that we came back after I took that, it sucked trying to keep my head up while playing. It is instinctual for me to look down at the ground because I don't know where I'm going, and it allows me to see it makes me feel like seeing sky is not effective as seeing ground. And I don't know why, but part of me wants to believe that it has something to do with being able to see people because they're not in the sky, so the sky is wasted. Wasted screen, sorry. But what I have found out, it is much easier to spot the people hiding in the places that are further away, because that's when you want to spot them. You don't want to spot them when they might be coming out of the woods at your feet.
Right.
But that didn't occur to me logically because I can hear them coming if they are close. Therefore, I don't have to have my eyes close.
Right.
So I've been trying to look up and scan the horizon and not scan anywhere in the middle. Now, can I get your thoughts on that? Because I don't want to go down another path of bad FPS play.
I think first off, what the hell is with this game having a crosshair that's not centered on your monitor?
That's a good point.
I never even noticed because I'm bad at games.
So your look down is even worse now because your crosshair is below center screen. I don't understand why they did that. It makes no sense. I've never played any other game that has it this way.
Where is it?
Dead center. On this game, it's dead center, but down. It's like lower third. Lower third.
It's like 10% below what the center would be or something like
Really?
Yeah. Well, next time we boot up, you'll see your crosshair is not in the middle of your screen. And it's
So should I be doing
strange.
a Dumb As Hell?
Maybe.
To do a different thing about self-advocacy?
It's very strange. But second, I think a lot of new players do this. A lot of new players look down instinctively. And I think maybe it's to sort of get the gun model out of the way, or, like you said, the sky. There's no one in the sky, so you're kind of covering up the sky on your screen. I see a lot of people do it. I don't know why, but it's something that you need to break because it takes you so much longer to flick to someone's body or head when you're looking down, rather than if you were facing them at torso or head height. You can just move left and right rather than up and over.
I think it's about field of view, like being able to see more. People like who are looking really hard for things will try and position themselves in a way that lets you see more of the screen. But that doesn't matter if there's like a 0.0001% chance that they will show up there. Like you want to bet on like a higher percent chance that somebody will show up, and that's really where the crosshair placement comes in. It's also not just in long range where you're looking. I'm interested in this horizon thing. I'm having trouble visualizing the horizon, seeing what you mean. But I think movement in the foreground would easily attract your vision, whereas things on the horizon would be harder to spot. So I think if you're concentrating on that, I think that would work. But yeah, if you're up close in a building, especially aiming like around a corner but down, is super ineffective. Even if you are the other thing is, like, if you have two angles to watch, splitting your vision between them is actually not the best strategy.
No, pick one.
You want to pick one, and you can even rotate between the two if you feel like that's the best. But you're still, like, you really want to, if you can, reposition yourself so you only have to cover one angle. But if not, you want to bet on one. Which one do you think they're coming down on? Because that's really when you're going to get the reaction.
Yep.
So that on the close-up corner. So let's say I have two vantage points. Close-up, I struggle with much harder. So when I switched to this and I was trying to aim higher, I had more luck at distance than I did at close range, because close or medium, I botch it quite often. And I think that still has to do with the fact that I can't find my sweet spot for sensitivity. Because there's no way I'm this bad. I mean, I think Wild COD is so much easier. I kicked ass at that game.
Yeah.
And the learning curve is pretty damn high on this game, pretty damn high on PUBG. I did okay with Apex as well, but I imagine that I would have done significantly better at that game had I aimed up more. And so what is the difference here between taking shots at a distance using this technique and picking two angles, or picking one with the option of two and doing it at close range? Because I will always die at close range, and it feels pretty panicky to me when I know that I could do it. And that's why I get so angry when I'm like waiting and I'm like, I got this. And then somebody comes in and I miss. And then they kill me.
I got a couple tips. I think one of these John mentioned before when we were talking about fully auto weapons versus single fire. And like in Hunt, honestly, everything is single fire or tapping. Like there's no gun that you press and hold. You can do that with some guns, but it's just not effective. You shouldn't be doing it. So I think in COD, first of all, we always used to play hardcore. So it only takes a couple of bullets. Hardcore. Only takes a couple bullets to kill. And it's way more forgiving, because think about this. A guy running from left to right across your screen, with your older, and I'd say older because you're trying new things now, your older style of ADSing, where you would sort of ADS and then bring your crosshair up to where the guy is and then track him left to right. That was more forgiving because there's very little recoil in COD. And by the time your crosshair caught up to him, your bullets are still pretty accurate at that point. It's not like PUBG where you shoot a couple shots and your bullets are going way up, because there's so much recoil.
All the time in PUBG.
Yeah. So COD is more laser beams. You're able to track a guy. You don't have to have the quick second instant reaction time in COD. You can just sort of like slowly flow over to him, and your bullets are still going where your crosshair is pointed. And it only took a couple hits, so therefore you were doing fine in that game. You're getting a lot of kills that way. In this game, everything is pinpoint. Sorry, go ahead, John.
It's also much closer range.
Closer.
There's more forgiveness in that you're not aiming at a super tiny target, and I think even the people up close in this game are smaller than Call of Duty targets.
I would agree with that. It does feel more. It feels tighter in Call of Duty.
Yeah. And you would never use a sniper in Call of Duty, right? Like you never once pick that up.
Never.
Yeah. So there you go. And here it's like there's medium range, long range, and you're not using a sniper scope, but you still need that pixel perfect accuracy to hit people. And in COD, you would just never fight people from that distance. Like you would just die, respawn to the guy really far away from you, and then you'd go up close and hunt people at short range. The other thing I wanted to say is when you're holding angles indoors, I mean, I feel like we got to send Cody some videos of Counter-Strike Global Offensive or 1.6 or Source, any of those tips on crosshair placement. Because one of the things that I thought of is, say you are holding an angle, say it's a left to right 90-degree angle, you're facing a wall, and on your left is a door, and you think someone's going to come in through that door, right? Don't aim right at the door. Like, don't aim on the pixel that you will first see. You know what I mean? So when that person walks in the door, by the time your brain registers that person has walked in, he's already past your crosshair. So pull off of that doorway and maybe aim 2 feet to the right of it, so that by the time your brain registers that someone is walking in, you just have to click. You don't have to then track him.
Logical sense. Makes a lot of sense.
That's like a sniper tip, I would say. Anytime you're using a scope, don't just aim at the tiny crack in the door. Aim further off of it.
So the one thing that I will say to counter that is, if you're up close covering a door like that, if they are going to check the corner that you're standing in, then you want to have the least amount of distance between where you're aiming in the door. Because you still want their head to pop into view, and you need that reaction time, as Dan is mentioning. But if you do it too much and they peek you and they see you first and just click on you, if they're like sidestepping in, you lose.
Yep.
And your body can clip through the walls too. So I've learned to stay away from the walls as much as possible when I am creeping.
Yeah. And a lot of it is that's that body awareness, and that's something that you just learn as you play. I mean, there's no way to teach it necessarily, and every game is different too. So it's like if you're in the corner and you think you're hidden and your gun's clipping through the wall, well, you just got to figure out how long that gun is, really. Like there's no way to get around it. Most games are really bad at, spatial awareness, I guess. Having your gun, collision. Having your gun be blocked by solid objects, it just passes through them.
For your close range, medium range fights, I think probably what's happening is you are getting used to everything. I think, like Dan was mentioning, this is like single shot territory. So every shot that you take counts, and every shot that you miss builds anxiety.
Yes.
Which makes you more likely to miss. So I think what happens at long range is there's more forgiveness between you and the target, which means you can line up your shot, they can hit you, and you're probably okay. Whereas up close, if they hit you, you're likely dead. They're able to capitalize on it more.
Yep.
So if you come up against somebody who is similar skill, but you miss your first shot, you will die. Just the way the game works and how the damage works.
Mm-hmm. Especially with shotguns, yeah.
Yeah, and the
shotguns being
one-hit
how powerful.
headshots. Yeah, there's all types of stuff that just make it very much about aim accuracy. There's some things that we can tell you to try and work on for next time that might help with dodging people's attacks, and then you have to get used to like doing that while attacking. So maybe that'll be the next week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And one more thing I just thought of, sorry, about the positioning. So when you're picking between which angle to cover, like say we're in the boss's lair and you've set all your traps, you're ready to go. Now, if you're me, you're just running around making a ton of noise for no reason at all. If you're Cody, yeah, crunchy, real crispy. If you're Cody, you're probably sitting in a corner, right? Like that's what you like to do, pick a corner, sit and wait. And so that's fine. But the thing you should think about is from this position, and I think you do a good job at this, but other beginner players, from that position, how many angles are you exposed to? And so if you're looking at one door, like where are all of the other places that people could come from or potentially see you from? And then try to just make that number as small as possible so that you have, people could only come in through that door and you couldn't possibly be hit from anywhere else unless they're wall hacking or seeing you through a tiny crack. But even then, that's another thing. All the tiny cracks in the walls.
Cracks are a big deal.
Bullet pen is very real. And then along with trying to watch two angles at the same time, like I'm trying to, hopefully I can get this point across, but I'm picturing a square room and you are in the middle of it. And there's a door on your left and there's a door on your right. Mm-hmm. And so sitting there and facing the wall, the middle, is stupid because like John said, you got to pick one. So where do you go? What do you do? That's my quiz for you. Another
against
test.
A wall?
Yeah.
Close to one, but you pick the other.
So close to
you go
one
close
of the doors?
to the right and you pick the left.
Exactly. Good call. So now if someone comes through in front of you, you've got a shot on them right away. Or if someone coming from behind you, you can either hear them, and you also don't have to move your crosshair very far to hit them as they come through.
But you should also be on the side that the door opens to, correct?
Yes. Well, they all open... I think doors open in and out, don't they? Depending on the side you open from.
You mean if the right door, if they click open on it, if it swings to block you, that's what you want to be. And then on the left side,
because if they don't know you're there, you don't have to move because they have to come around the door.
That's true.
Yep, that's a good call.
That's another layer to think about.
Yep.
I would like to compliment you on something, Cody, which is due to your equipment, but also your play sense.
And you're very dashing good looks.
Yeah, because you're very good at listening to where people are and figuring out what people are likely to do based on sound cues. So I think that's a very, very strong skill to have, and it's super useful. And I think using that and getting your aim up will make you very, very strong in these first-person shooter situations.
Thanks. Also, I'm really good at calling out dogs.
Very good.
Dogs! Guy! Because my guy sucks.
Your guy sucks. Your guy sucks. And so along that line, the guy sucking. You might have heard me say that from time to time. My guy sucks. Oh, I died. My guy must suck. I'm out of stamina. My guy sucks.
Your guy does suck.
The hive got me. My guy sucks. Clearly my guy sucks. She didn't go after you guys. My guy sucks.
I was looting. My guy sucks.
Yeah, I looted and someone headshot me from across the map because they saw me run at the wagon while you guys were very much in cover. My guy sucks. Clearly that was the issue. So my question to you guys is, why does my guy suck?
Flamp, flamp.
Flamp, flamp. Theme song pending. Why?
Song pending.
Why does my guy suck?
Let's take a look.
Let's deep dive. That's our other podcast.
Let's splash in.
Why Does My Guy Suck is a brand new segment coming to your ears from the Hot Drop Podcast boys. Why does my guy suck? And the idea here is to look at a clip of my gameplay and understand why my guy sucks.
Why does Dan's guy suck?
So we're going to look at whether it's a death and a loss or some sweet kills and the win. What did I do that either helped or hurt the team? Or what did we do as a team that caused our success or failure? A lot of times, and if you look way deep in the archives, you'll find a couple of YouTube videos of John and I doing this in PUBG. Super fun. We dissected video of our gameplay from his angle and my angle, and we spliced it together and showed how a situation developed and then ended. This is just an audio format of that, where we will basically pick out the turning point. Like, what was it that caused our success or caused our failure? And this clip, you'll see it in the show notes. And this is a clip of us, after we got a token, doing what we do, getting penisy, getting greedy, and trying to go get the second token. So I have some vision. I have the one token. I think, John, you had the other one. Is that right?
Mm-hmm. Correct.
And so we were moving from the place where we got the first token. No one really attacked us there. I think that
we wiped a team.
Did we wipe a team?
Yeah.
Regardless, there's still potentially 2 more teams on the map. And we got into a fight in the middle of an open field as we were approaching a compound. And I don't remember the compound. You'll watch the clip. You'll remember. You'll remember where we
Windy
are.
Run.
Windy Run. Windy Run.
Windy windy.
And so, as you'll see from my point of view, we approach the compound, we get into a fight. We see that there are people in a house, and to the right of that house is a barn. I'm oversimplifying it, but essentially I get a kill in the house. So that's 1 out of 3 potentially downed. Feeling pretty good about that. We know that we have to keep pushing because we don't have any cover where we are now. So we move into the compound. We approach the barn. And in my head, with my 2 seconds of vision remaining that I do not click, I think I'm safe. Why would I think that? Because, well, I didn't hear anyone in the barn. I only saw the guy in the house, and the house was fairly far away from the barn. I certainly don't expect anyone to be right in my face as I approach the barn. But again, I don't use my vision, which is kind of stupid. And all along, Cody is saying, hey, there's 2 teams here. Hey, there's 2 teams here. But I don't think at the time Cody said why he thought there were 2 teams, because sometimes I say, like, hey, I think there's 2 teams, but it's clearly just 1. Like, that happens a lot. Like, with how the audio is and how when you shoot, crows go off, and like those crows are far away, you think that the crows were from the shot, but it was actually another team running in. Like, it's a lot of chaos in the middle of a fight. And so I didn't take Cody's warning to heart, didn't use my vision, and I think it was just a breakdown of communication as we approached the barn. Another reason that you'll see failed here is because I decided for some unknown reason to raise this gate in the middle of the open and try to go in the barn that way. I think my thought process was, there can't be anyone in this barn, so let's just take the quickest path into the barn so then I can then shoot the guy that's in the house from the barn, from safety. It turns out either his teammate or another team. I don't know for sure. I think it was another team.
I think it was a teammate.
Came into the barn. As I'm raising the gate and walk into the gate, he's just right in my face. Cody's behind me. The guy has an automat. He double taps us, kills us both instantly. And John, who's slightly behind us, also goes down to another guy shortly after. So,
I have additional context.
Hit me
unless
with it,
you would like to.
No, I was going to say, so why does my guy suck? And John, take it away. Why does my guy suck?
So as we were approaching from the south, I checked my vision. We were fighting the people in the barn. Right before that, this is how Cody knew we were fighting 2 teams. So there was a team to at this point, our west, basically, that as we were going through the field south of Windy Run, we encountered them at the gate. There was some confusion whether it was the same team that ended up in the barn. However, based on where they're positioning, I don't think it's them. So that is where I assume some of the two team comments came from, as well as
Yes.
some sound cues that Cody had. Secondly, I used my vision about 30 seconds or a minute before this clip and saw all 3 spots in the house, in and around the house.
Correct.
Now, we engaged them briefly, shot at them a few times, tagged some people. I think I hit someone downstairs and they stepped aside and healed. Dan, I think you ended up
I did
shooting
down
the same
someone.
He
person.
got the guy on the upstairs,
Upstairs
open-
window. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we had confirmed that they were fighting from the house next to this barn, and then we started approaching. As we were doing that, I, hearing Cody's comment about the two teams, started trying to figure out whether we should just having 2 bounty tokens and this not being where the boss was. I was trying to verbalize and figure out between us as a team whether we should be taking this fight. There's actually an exit just east of this location, very close by, that I thought maybe it might be better if we get out of this area and just go to the location. However, I was not firm about this. I was kind of wishy-washy. I was like, "Hey, do you guys think we should fight, or should we run?
Boom, Dan's
Should we
dead.
Yeah, exactly." And I was during this whole thing, Cody is trying to let me talk, but still give us the information that we need. Which, passing it to Cody, he has further context.
I think so. When we were passing through and we were first engaging the people in the house, what I had heard prior to us arriving and kind of taking on the fight was a distant shot to past the house to the right. So facing west is the house. To the right and behind, there was another loud shot. And we knew that there were 3 people there because John had just called it out. So normally when I call shots out, though, I think that they are much closer than they are. And John, you're pretty quick to point out, like, no, it's at a different place. You're wrong, Cody. And I would say 95% of the time you were right. However, at this point, I had thought that they were engaging with the people from the right-hand side into the house and not us. And that I was sort of like mentally tracking where that shot had come from and that they would trail through. And I heard the guy in the barn. And so it was at that point that I knew that that was a second team. Guaranteed it was a second team. I heard you saying that, and I think based on listening back to this and rewatching it, my intent by saying there's a second team was an agreement with you that we should get the fuck out of there.
Oh,
Yeah. So like based on just like my tone of like, there's a second team here. There's a second team here. Dan was like pushing pretty hard because I think I asked him what he was doing.
oh yeah,
Yeah, that sounds right.
that sounds familiar.
And
Yeah.
I didn't have time to tell you, but what I was trying
Yes.
to do was take up cover in the barn and then try to finish off the team that's in the house.
Right. That makes a lot more sense because I remember thinking like, I don't know what you're doing because John has said, let's get out. And I've been calling that there are 2 teams here. This is not safe is what I meant. And
Yeah.
that part I like speak differently. Like, you know, I need to be clearer when I'm calling out 2 teams because even in real life, sometimes I assume that my thought goes from point A to D and everyone else should catch up.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm working on it. And that was 100% the instant there because when I heard the shot from behind to the right of the house facing west, I don't know how to describe it, but in my head that shot happened and he was moving to the barn no matter what. And then I heard confirmation when I was heading into the barn that he was in there. So when Dan was going over to open that gate, I knew he was already in there. There wasn't a question in my mind, and I feel like it surprised Dan pretty. I mean, you can see it. He goes in like, you almost got the guy, but that's what it was.
Yeah.
And that's why your guy sucks.
My
Gotta
guys,
get that 13.1.
yeah, I gotta get that better headset. 5.1 isn't cutting it. I gotta try 7, 8, 9, maybe 13.
Do they have those?
They have 7. That's
I
thing.
have a 7.1.
That 9 was a thing.
I'm just throwing out numbers, honestly.
I'm just saying, like, do they go higher? Because I would get a higher one.
I need more numbers.
Isn't the
That's how you
idea
know it's good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
So, yeah.
That was an interesting one. It's too bad because we had hit the team in the house a few times.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's interesting that all the teams seem to converge here.
Also, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Go ahead.
All the teams seem to converge here where the monster wasn't, and the bounty had already, like, we had already fought and killed a boss at this point.
Yep.
So this isn't like super early in the game. This is like 10 or 15 minutes in, probably like 10 minutes in.
Yeah. What I was going to say is I think I also remember Dan taking a shot from outside the fence before we had decided to engage. If this is the same clip, we were coming up on the gate and Dan took a shot at the guy in the upstairs window before we had said,
Oh, yeah.
oh look, there are people here. Let's fight them.
Mhm.
Because our original intent was not to stop here and fight. We were just going to the next thing. We were going to the clue, not to fight the people. And there were 2 clues around that map, that portion of the map.
Yeah, and like John said at the beginning, when he checked his vision and saw 3 guys near the house, there was one at the house that I ended up downing. There was one to the left away from the house. And then if I remember right, I think I saw one sort of at the house, but maybe behind it, maybe to the right, which was on the near side of the barn.
I hit one on the bottom floor.
And then there's a guy on the bottom floor. Okay, so maybe that was 3 then. But when I got the first kill, I'm thinking, oh, we got this. The second guy is going to go heal the one I just killed, so that really leaves just one. And I thought I saw him near the house. And so that's why I'm thinking, oh, I'm free and clear to go into this barn and then try to pick them off as they try to heal. Not even thinking that there could possibly be a guy in front of me and not using my vision because I was having that false sense of security.
The long and short is our communication breakdown when we come up on a fight that we have a choice with oftentimes comes down to we just choose to fight without talking about it. And this would have been a prime opportunity to talk about it first.
Yep.
Whereas the ones that are in the woods are easier to just start fighting.
Mhm.
When you come up on a location, we should confer before we do it.
Yeah. And we had time.
Yeah, we had plenty of time here. Yeah. And secondly, and probably most importantly, Dan's guy sucks.
My guy sucks. I mean, when you look at the facts, you look at the numbers. I only have 5.1. That doesn't help.
That's not enough numbers.
Not enough numbers, therefore a guy sucks.
Yep.
So here we are.
I think also this location feels very open, so that's why you see Dan rush over to the gate and start cranking that shit. Because the back area feels very exposed, even though there's not really a good way to peek it from where we were fighting those people. We were still out in the open, and it didn't feel good to be there. So I was pushing towards that way too after I saw Dan opening the gate. It's a weird one for sure.
In hindsight, going to the left instead of right would have probably been better for us.
Mm-hmm.
So that is a weird issue because we were fighting a team in the field of the prison. The prison's over there, right?
Oh, yeah, that's right. They were, yeah.
So there were people at the gate, and that's why we were kind of swinging that wide way, is so that we could avoid fighting those people or getting pinched by people in the house and those people at the field.
Yeah.
You know.
This is a good segment. I like this. I think that all of you who are listening, make sure to watch the clip. Watch it a few times. It's very short. And then you'll be like, oh, yeah, this is great. Like, I think this is really cool and really helpful to just analyze them because I've just had it on a loop this entire time we've been talking.
Yeah, this is cool. And they're not always going to be, we suck and we lose. There's going to be some wins. And we might even have like a turning point for another team. Like the enemy team might get a kill on me, and that might be the reason that they were able to turn the tides against us. So yeah, I look forward to this. We're going to have a new clip every week.
Yeah, I like this one.
Dig it.
Love
cool.
it.
And so those are all of our new segments. I think that when we hit next week, we should be going over all these segments again with different topics, the roadmap, and hopefully patch notes if they are launched. Ooh. So we have the notes, but we haven't played them yet because they are not live. They're only on the test server, and we don't want to give it. I don't have the test server. Not interested. I just want to play it live. Yeah. So we're gonna wait, and then we'll hit you guys back up next week. Call the hotline. And Dan, do we have any calls?
Sure do.
All right, then. Love you. Wear a mask.
Beep beep boop 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 beep beep.
The hotline bling.
It's the hotline bling.
You have new messages.
This episode brought to you by the son of Thomas Leo Clancy Sr. presents. This episode brought to you by the son of Thomas Leo Clancy Sr. presents Thomas Leo Clancy Jr.'s.
Sorry. I'm just going to mute myself.
Thomas Leo Clancy Jr.'s The Division 2 Long Division.
I didn't mute the recording, so you still had me laughing over it. Okay, all right, I'm muting everything.
God, we're fucking funny.
Yeah, we are.
Well, it's about fucking time.
All you motherfucks are sleeping, so GD hard on Hunt Showdown. Get up right now, dig through the couch cushions, and find the cash to try this bomb-ass game. A national coin shortage is no excuse. Dig deeper.
Hey, all you cool cats and kittens. I was just calling so that Google doesn't kill the hotline, and also to ask if you guys would be willing to do an episode on Tiger King. That's all for now. Bye.